Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. And so as we move into this week, this report is for February 6th through the 12th. We have this week the new moon in Aquarius as our big ticket. And this one's going to be quite a healing new moon, as we have the North Node and Chiron, the wounded healer, involved there. And we also have this week Mercury, the planet of our mind, fresh into Aquarius, as the Sun and Pluto are both in Aquarius right now also, and it's Aquarius season. And so Mercury had to make a conjunction, actually is still kind of in the midst of a conjunction with Pluto. And that's when the planets, they cross each other's path, right? And so their energies blend together. Mercury is the planet of the mind, and this is our communication style. When Mercury moves into a new sign, we get a new different communication style, a way that we're sort of filtering our mind and our mental status through sort of the themes and concepts of that sign. So right now, Mercury being in Aquarius is like the sign of freedom and total independence and individuality. And so our minds are now freshly into this new sign where we're going to be feeling like having some more freshness, having some more new, having some change. These are all Aquarius themes, along with basically just kind of like opening things up. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Aquarius is such an enlightening energy. It's an awakening type of energy. So this season of Aquarius is always really interesting and striking, as Uranus is the ruling planet. So Uranus is the planet that's sort of ruling all of these Aquarius these planets that are transiting through Aquarius. They're moving through right now. And the planet of Uranus is in Taurus right now, shaking up the ground and really just tearing through the earth signs, creating change, sudden change, all kinds of new things and transitions for all those earth signs. And so Mercury, back to Mercury in Aquarius. This is like our mind expanding and taking on this new, broader perspective, as Aquarius is like also the sign of innovation, free thinking. Free thinking, you can see how all these things fit together. Free thinking leads to ideas, which leads to innovation. All those things are wrapped up in the sign of Aquarius. And so we could be like literally thinking of new things that we had never thought of before when Mercury is in Aquarius, because it's this sign of innovation. We're always going to be like, oh, well, how can I make this better? Or, hey, how can I take this and make it like even bigger and better, and even shine that bright awakened light on it even more? Aquarius is a great place to have conversations that require a little less of our emotions and a little more of maybe our mind. And so this is a really cool time. Mercury moves through a sign in 2.5 weeks or so, depending on the speed. And Mercury's traveling pretty quickly right now. So we only have a short amount of time with this innovative style for our mind to latch onto. So that's a fun one. Use that wisely. And making this conjunction with Pluto coming through, which is where I started with this, is that Pluto is actually going to be interacting with all of the planets as they first move into Aquarius. Pluto's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. This is transformative energy. Pluto wants to burn things down and start new things. So as Aquarius season keeps rolling along and Pluto is there we could see a lot of these transformative things taking place, just ideas that are taking shape very quickly, as this is also the sign of Uranus, which is very fast moving energy. Things can just transition and transmute and change very quickly with Aquarius energy. And so this is going to be exciting next week. We also have, just looking ahead, Mars and Venus, the two planets, the lovers, the cosmic lovers, Mars and Venus. They are approaching their own conjunction, where they are going to come together and blend their energies. But first, they need to go through their own little personal transformations and come into contact with Pluto as they enter the sign of Aquarius. And both of those that's happening next week. Both of those planets are going to go through that personal transformative experience. Mars being the planet of our body, and Venus being the planet of our heart, basically, and of our love. And so, wow, I mean, so many things, our mind, our body, and our heart coming into contact and transforming in their own personal ways before actually coming into this new sign and using this Aquarius energy of fast change. Even the planet Uranus that represents Aquarius is a very different, individual, unique planet, and has its own way of moving through the solar system. All the rest of the planets have like a north-south axis, if you will, and they spin towards, kind of into their orbit is how they go. Well, Uranus has an actual, it's tipped over, and the axis is then like a east-west, if you will, and then it rolls into the orbit, right? So it actually lays down, and it does this totally unique thing, and that's what makes Uranus the planet of speediness and individuality. And we actually are approaching and are in a bit of a fire void. Now, all of the signs have an element that are associated with them: water, earth, air, fire. And we have very little fire represented in the chart. We have the moon just had been in Sagittarius, moved into Capricorn today on February 6th. And that was the last of the fiery energy until the moon actually moves into Leo here in a week or so. And so when the moon, moves into a fire sign, it's going to be really almost like foreign energy to us, because there's no other fire in the chart, counting all of the traditional planets. Now, we do have Chiron in Aries and the North Node. Chiron is an asteroid, and the North Node is a mathematical point. It's not actually a thing in the sky. It's just a mathematical point in the zodiac. And so very little fire represented, but this wounded healer of Chiron, which is going to be highlighted this week. And we're already feeling this. This is in a fire sign. And so this is where all of the fire energy is going to be looking to. It's going to be sort of going into this place where all the fire energy is accumulating, and that's with Chiron. This is going to be 16 to 17 degrees of Aries this week, and so fiery people, you're going through a wounded healer transformation. This is like all those wounds that we thought. This is like the timeless wounds that we are dealing with throughout our life, right? Themes that kind of always come back up for us, and we are continually trying to work on these things. Now, Chiron is our wounds, but it's also the wounds that we master. And so once we master our wounds, we then become a teacher for others, and then pass along, that good, positive, benevolent energy of sort of solving your problems, solving the equations for yourself in the ways that are right for you. Because the way that we heal and the way that healing comes into our lives is not always predicted, and it's not always the same as other people. In fact, it's really not usually the same. Our healing happens in totally different ways. We need individual attention with our wounds because they're all so unique and happen to everybody in such different ways. I mean, even if we have similar things in our past, that we have trouble with, there's still going to be such complex, unique problems. If you call it a problem in terms of problem solving, which, you can't solve if you don't have the problem there. So solving and problem solving is a very positive thing. And we can use that in our lives to work in these areas that are more challenging for us, which is going to be some of the themes that are coming up this week. Chiron brings up these wounds and also gives us an opportunity to look at them again so that we can master them in new ways and then use that as basically a superpower moving forward. Chiron is like the Batman suit of the zodiac, if you can master that in a way that is benevolent for you. And so, we're always more pieces to these puzzles come through, and that is going to be a theme with the new moon in Aquarius this week on Friday, the February 9th. And that is at, 3 p.m. on the Pacific West Coast here. And that is going to be at 21 degrees of Aquarius. Let me pull up the chart here for the new moon. Yes, 21 degrees of Aquarius. So time to look at your natal birth chart and see what we are working with here. What's at 21 degrees of Aquarius? And if there's nothing there, nothing in Aquarius, you still have a house that's associated with Aquarius. Which house is that? Which area of life is this going to be affecting you mostly in? And also 21 degrees of any sign is going to be affected by this new moon, as the points in the 30 degrees of each sign are really important too. And when 1 degree is lit up, like in this case, 21 degrees of Aquarius, 21 degrees of every other sign is also going to be lit up and stimulated. So what have we got there? I pulled up a little interesting impact on a natal chart graph here. And so 21 degrees of Aquarius, if you have points at 21 degrees of Taurus or 21 degrees of Scorpio, this is going to be in a square to that, and this is going to be challenging you to look at this area of your life and take a step in a direction. Now, the step that you take is your choice. Of course, with a square, it can be challenging. So the more challenging thing is to take the step in the more benevolent direction, but that's not always possible. Hey, I know I come here every week, Stacey Dredd, and I chat about, all of these benevolent energies and everything, but that does not mean that I am not still human also myself. And it's not all the time that even I can work with these energies in, totally straightforward ways. And so just a little announcement, Stacey Dredd is human too, and there are just challenges that sometimes we are not ready for. We're just not ready for that in that moment, in that time. Taking the step up is going to be difficult. The leg just won't make it up the step, and so we trip. And that is just fine. And tripping on these squares is just fine too, because you get to just get up again and jump back right up on that horse and give it another go. If you have points at 21 degrees of Leo, this new moon is in an opposition to that point. And so you're going to be feeling like that opinion is over there and your opinion is over here, like these 2 points that are so far away from each other that it creates an opposition. It creates arguments. It creates like this feeling of maybe even having to make a choice. Do I stay here or do I go over there? If you have points at 21 degrees of Cancer, Pisces, Capricorn, or Virgo. This is in an angle to you there that is not requiring action, but may be in your blind spot. It may be like one of those things, what are they called in your eye, in your vision, the squigglies, the little squigglers. You can't do anything about it. It's just there. And it's annoying, and you just have to deal with it. And that's your mission here on this new moon, is to just kind of deal with it. It's annoying. You want to make action, but there's just none to take, and you just kind of have to sit with it. If you have points at 21 degrees of Aries or Sagittarius or Libra or Gemini, this is new moon in Aquarius is in a really positive flow. It's in an easy flow. See, positive can be positive depending on how you respond to any of these situations, right? So it's more of like a slippery aspect. It's an easy aspect. You have sextiles and trines. And so this is going to be like, you're going to be making these changes very smoothly. Things are going to be happening very fast. And you could see these, things, intentions that you take on this new moon really take shape very quickly, and they may come on very easily. So that's an interesting chart that I just wanted to kind of go over with people to give you an idea sort of where this new moon may be affecting you. And if you don't have your points at 21 degrees, that's fine. I mean, normally within 10 degrees for a new and a full moon, you've got impacts there. So if you have any planets in the second two decans in the 10 to 20 degrees or the 20 to 30 degrees areas of any sign, it's going to be affected here. So fun stuff. I definitely recommend just taking it slow. There is going to be a push for things to go quickly because of Uranus. And Uranus is stationed direct just recently. So basically is sitting very, very still. And when planets are still, we feel their impacts very potently. And so there could be some pressure to make changes or to do things quickly, or and hey, that might be the way to go depending on, how this is interacting with in your life and in your birth chart. It might be that time. And if your intuition is saying, yes, I'm going to make this change and I'm going to do it, bam, and I'm done and I'm a new person tomorrow, then this is going to be working for you really well. But if your intuition is saying, no, I really am not going to succumb to this pressure, I'm really intuitively feeling like I need to slow this down, like it's not time for me to be making this quick decision or to be taking sides or to be doing anything really, then use that intuition and, move a little more slowly through this. So we will definitely be feeling the impacts of this new moon for the next 2 weeks. So we use these energies as we move in and out of them. And this year is the official start to the Chinese New Year this week. February 10th is the Lunar New Year, and it's the year of the dragon. So people that follow Chinese astrology or Eastern traditional themes, knowing that it's the year of the dragon. Wow, that's another transformative energy that is like really tied into this Pluto transformative stuff. So go with it. This it could be still feeling quite unpredictable. It could still be feeling a little dark, like all these things, this interaction with Pluto is not going well and it's bringing up some stuff for you. Well, that is okay. Just take your time with it, or bam, make that change, move with the energy, how you intuitively feel is going to be best for you. And I just really appreciate you being here with me and being tuned in. And I will be talking to you again soon. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.